time has been. Wow, it is a beautiful day here in Baltimore. The sun is out. It's a little overcast, but nevertheless, the sun is out. It's a beautiful day. Every day that you wake up, you have a new opportunity to be your best self. So that is just a blessing in itself. I am so glad to be with you guys, and I got a great guest on as well today. But before we get into all of that, before I bring my great guests on, man, let's just talk a little bit about all the things going on in the news around the nation, around the globe. Let's make this connection. I mean, right? So we know we got all types of craziness going on in the state of Alabama, right? So I went to school in Alabama, went to Tuskegee University, and it was backwards. The state of Alabama was backwards when I was there, and that's now been about 25 years ago. And it continues to get even worse, right? So we know that the education there is, I think, like the out of the 50 states, it's like number 50. So that lets you know where that is. They just passed the most man controversial, restrictive abortions bill in the history, I think of. I mean, I don't know, maybe even since what is it, uh, Roe versus
Roe versus Wade.
Roe versus Wade. Thank you, Eric. It's got to be like crazy, crazy. But I do, and maybe Eric and I can get and talk about it as well as soon as I connect him on here as well. But we can talk about that. But it's some craziness. So that's going on. We've got Trump now. He called Barack Obama out back in the day about coming close to election and wanting to start a war with Iran and something like that. And that's what weak presidents do, is what he said. And now we're looking at maybe something similar. So this is a crazy, crazy world. So we got to stay focused. We must stay on our grind and understand too, as I've always said, we have to work and build together. This thing is not about who's in political office. This is really about each and every one of us, and that's another segue to my guest today. But before I said I bring him on. It wouldn't be customary of me if I didn't do what I do. So I want to actually read the blog for May. I haven't posted it on the website as of yet, but it has been edited, and you should look for it later, sometime later today. So those of you who actually catch the show via my website, you know where to go. Just go down to the blogs, and it will be the newest blog. It'll be the newest blog. It's called Spring. For those of you who actually catch this on YouTube, then I'm gonna redirect you to my website, which is GaryRockman.com. Go to the blog section, check that out. So again, it's called Spring. So here we go. Spring is the season of growing. It's the season of fresh and clean. Since I was a child growing up in Chicago, it's been my favorite season. Well, I guess when you're from one of the coldest cities in the winter, it only makes sense. Yet I've loved it more for the newness than for its warm weather. Spring starts the cookout season and just all the cool outdoor fun, like bike riding or strolling along the lakefront. Spring just opens up your opportunities. There are graduations, proms, and how can I forget Mother's Day? Miss you, Ma. It is for these reasons that for me, spring has also always paralleled life and a fresh start. Like all the seasons, it makes the beginning of something new, but spring is special. I don't know if it's because of the flowers that bloom or the trees that grow, but it's better than the rest. Perhaps it's the Creator's way of letting us know that all things can be renewed, even in the haze from the allergies that also come with the season. The journey of life is laid with highs and lows, births and death, riches and rewards, heartaches and doubt. It's our responsibility to process what is being shown and seize the opportunity. So let's clear our heads and forge ahead to what we've claimed for ourselves. For it is spring, and leaping is a part of its meaning. So check that out again. That's spring. Without further ado, I want to bring this gentleman on. And before I do, I kind of just want to give you guys a little bit of background of how we actually met. So I met this gentleman about a few months ago. It's been in 2019. We were at both at Terra Cafe. It's a black-owned restaurant here in Baltimore on 25th and St. Paul. So shout out to Terra Cafe. I love that little corridor, which is kind of actually Eric actually put me on this. It's actually been coined the Black Wall Street of Baltimore, and the reason is because there's so many black businesses in that corridor. So big ups on that. But the Terra Cafe, I'm in there waiting on I think it was my banker to come in. We're gonna stay down, have a little meeting, and he comes in with a colleague of his, and they're sitting next to me, and I'm kind of just I don't know I'm not trying to ear hustle, but I'm hearing them talk, and they're talking about something pretty deep, but it strikes me because it's just like something I think I had just written a blog on, I just discussed with someone, and I'm like, man, they don't even know that right now they are talking to me. So I introduced myself, and there it was, the boom, the explosion, the connection. We have known each other all of our lives, and we didn't even know each other until then, or we didn't meet until right that at that moment. But yes, yes, yes. So we were there rapping, talking, ended up talking for hours in Terra Cafe. Then we just kind of started moseying down the street. And yeah, it was just like, man, I feel connected to this guy. It was so refreshing to hear him and his colleagues speaking on things that totally resonated with me when it comes to us doing business for ourselves and not waiting on anyone else. And we had to make the connection of having him come on the show and talk about all the incredible things that he's doing and just putting the real work in. No excuses, putting the real work in. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend, my brother, our brother, Eric Randall of BZ Clothing Company. Welcome to the show, brother Eric.
Hey man, thank I heard all the claps and stuff, man. I feel overwhelmed. Man, this is the first time I ever been on a radio interview that was like, virtual. And I think that's cool. It's 2019, very, very, very excited to be here. The story that you said is completely 150% true. Uh Man, I don't think we could have done it any better. I don't think that we could have made this thing happen any better. I don't know, man. I'm just excited, man. Like I said, I'm just excited to be here. I'm just excited to um be a part of this, and I want to continue to do this. Oh, wait a minute. We lost Gary.
Connect with Eric.
There you go. I don't know what happened.
I think he's trying to get back on.
Hello.
So, yep, yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. I don't know. You know how the devil try to block good stuff.
Yeah, trying to block good stuff, man. But we connected. We connected. But yeah, you were saying that you don't think it could have happened any better than how it did.
No, it couldn't have happened any better than how it did because, like I said, me and my colleague, who was Betty Harvin, actually, we were having our first interview about Be More Soulful, and we had established that we wanted to go to a black-owned restaurant, and we were like thinking about Water for Chocolate, all these stuff that people recommended off of Facebook. And lo and behold, we pop up, like you said, you were only there to meet your banker. I think your banker was actually sick that day. She had an emergency.
Right.
So you ended up having time allotted for a meeting that wasn't the meeting that you came there for. And then you overheard us because we were literally sitting table to table, with one little aisle in between. And we just had the best conversation, man. Then we ended up going to see Malika Reed. I introduced you to Malika Reed and further heightened the day, with her energy. And yeah, man, I'm just thankful to be here.
Yeah, yeah, brother. So, what was powerful to me too in that encounter was that as you said, you had called. I think you said you had called a friend to find out like where to eat, and they told you Terra Cafe was a black restaurant, and you like asked what the address was. They told you the address, and you just so happened to be right in front of Terra Cafe at the time that you I think made the call. I'm like, man, that's the universe just making it, just confirming, just saying
Absolutely.
this has to be right. But so yeah, brother, that was powerful. That was powerful. And one of the things, man, I want to get into your story though, brother. I want you to share because you do a lot of stuff, a lot of powerful stuff, and you have been for some time. Though you're a young brother, I'm 48, and so that's why I say young brother. Um, but you have been an activist, an entrepreneur, someone who in Baltimore City has is not doesn't fit the narrative of what a lot of people think a Baltimore native is.
Hmm.
Uh, but just knowing the history like I do, you actually are the epitome of what a Baltimore guy, person is. So share your story, share your background, and
Oh, and the connection went out again.
no, you there.
All right, cool. All right, no, the screen will freeze. I'm glad you're there. All right, but my story: born and raised West Baltimore, 1985. I was born here on February 12th, so I'm an Aquarius. I was raised by my grandmother, my aunt, and my grandmother's husband, my grandfather. And basically, man, I went to Father Charles Hall Elementary School, graduated there valedictorian. Ended up going to St. Ignatius Loyola Academy, which is now, growing. And at the time, it was like a new school. It was only two or three. I think I was the third class ever to come in. And it was an all
Mm,
boys Jesuit school to give inner city kids an opportunity to have private school education through the help of sponsors, which is another reason why I'm so adamant about sponsoring things, because somebody gave me an opportunity. Then I left there, graduating, let's say like top 10 of that class, and then went to Poly because my uncle passed. God rest Uncle Bucky. He wanted me to go to Poly, so I got accepted in all these, like, I guess what people would consider Ivy League high schools, and I accepted Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, and I met a lot of dope friends, both at Western and Poly, who I still have as friends today and associates today and supporters today. And I left there, went to BCCC on the Granville T. Wood Scholarship after being accepted into Morgan and all these places. But because once again, a connection, God rest her soul, Miss Crystalline Bowie. She passed of cancer a couple years ago. She recruited me. She was happy. She reminded me like my grandmother, man. I just was like, all right, whatever you say. I was almost scared not to go. I felt like Miss Bowie was gonna get me. And I went there, did like 88 credits. I think it only takes 118 to get your associate's degree in engineering. I just dropped out, man. I wasn't feeling it. I felt like I wasn't living in my purpose. And needless to say, my family wasn't really excited about that or ecstatic about that. But years later, my family is some of my biggest supporters, my friends, and I'm just thankful through all the trials and errors. I now own Legacy Clothing Company LLC, which was my first company. August will make 14 years I've been doing that. I'm partnered in Credit Sweepers LLC, which is a Black-owned credit restoration business in Pikesville, Maryland. I've been doing that for about 4 years now. Uh, I'm also a motivational speaker and life coach. I go around, speaking life into people, holding seminars, encouraging people, same way you kind of doing me, encouraging people to grow into the next level. And recently I stumbled across Be More Soulful, which is my first nonprofit, my first nonprofit business, dedicating my life to changing and helping build self-esteem into the kids in Baltimore City by giving them shoes when they do well in school, or if they're in need, like if they're homeless or not financially stable. And there's a need for it. Me and my team, now it's a team. It was just me, but now I have a dope team of people. Uh, we're building and growing. That's the most recent thing. That's only about 5 months old. But
There
that's
you
my
go.
most fulfilling thing. Even though Be Easy is like my baby, and credit is super important. It wasn't until I started doing, just philanthropy work that things really kicked up a notch.
Dig it. Dig it. But man, that's a spectacular story, man. But there's some more too, man. We were sitting there rapping. I can remember one of the servers actually recognizing you,
Oh yeah.
and I was very it was a good feeling in my heart, my chest, because she didn't recognize you are an entrepreneur or because of those things. She recognized you because of your activism, and she spoke to that, of what you've been doing in the community for years. So share a bit of that as well our listeners.
Yeah, that warmed my heart, man. I, I find when you chase fame or the idea of fame, when you want to be recognized all the time, sometimes it draws the wrong attention and people look at you differently. So to be sitting there with you and mind you, we're strangers. Like we're complete strangers at this point, just talking like we known each other for years. Maybe, in our spirit, we've been kindred for years. And like you said, the server walks up and she's just as polite, looks like she's tired, it's early in the morning. And I'm just like, hey, have you ever heard of the brand? Just kind of asking her. She was like, why wouldn't I? Like, all these years you've been out in the community and all the stuff you've done, like who doesn't know you? And we both kind of had this like big smile on my face because it was so warming to know that I was not being known for, when I used to do my car club thing and I used to wear all, the jewelry and or having the freshest kicks, but I was known more to this lady as somebody who, created an impact in the community. And that's just the most awesome feeling, to walk around malls and have people hug you, or to be out somewhere and people come dap you up or want to buy you a drink or buy you some food, just because they feel like you're a genuine person. So yeah, that's a really dope feeling. Oh, Curry, you still there? Z Clothing Company. Curry, welcome to the show, brother Eric. Hey. Hello. There you go. He's gonna come back.
Legs.
We got bad connection.
You live broadcasting.
Are you
Yep,
here?
you there.
I said he's gonna come back in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
Uh,
Takes about
did you hear everything I said, or did I cut off?
you cut off at after the sister, the good feeling you had in your heart, the smile that came across your face, and just knowing her having to know you not based off of the car business that you had, but actually the service that you've been providing in the
Oh yeah, but
community.
But basically, I guess what I'm trying to express to people is that it's awesome to be known for how you impacted somebody's life versus how people assume your life is. For several years early in my career, I wanted to be known. I wanted to have the biggest car and the biggest rims, and you know, I also had to look successful or what people deem successful, and
Mhm.
to not chase that anymore and just really I'll say this to summarize it. My feelings about my community work. Everybody's gonna die one day. It's just a given. You're born to die in a sense, right? But when you pass, are they just gonna write a nice obituary about you and everybody's gonna read it and kind of move on? Or are they gonna want to make a statue about you or name a building after you or name a street after you? And that's pretty much sums up how I feel about, when people in the community recognize me for my community work.
Yeah, yeah, that's real. I'm the same, brother. Yeah, yeah, that's legacy building, true legacy building, right? Yeah, yeah, that's dope. And I wrote a blog about legacy and just being in that mindset, right? Of really, what are you if you're living and you're not really conscious about leaving a legacy, then kind of what are you doing, right? So if you like you said, if you're buying rims and just material things that aren't going to last, may not even outlast you, versus actually planting the seed and being a real agent of change, then and something that will be here when you're gone. You're absolutely right, man. It is it almost is when you think about it, right? It sounds crazy not to be in that space, not to be in that frame of mind. But yeah, brother, man. So yeah, I was that was I think that piece of everything that we talked about was kind of the icing on the cake. But then you talked to me about your shoes, and I want you to really share with the listeners, man, because this was powerful. And and I wish we could actually show pictures of actually some of a beginning and an ending uh,
I
of your
might,
product, man.
I might. Oh, I do have something. Hold on, I got you. I'm gonna show the product, and then I tell the story. I think it'll be more powerful. Hold on.
Okay, cool. Yes, indeed.
Okay. So
Yeah,
this is an example of a shoe that was donated. All right, can
check
y'all
that.
see? Yeah, y'all can see that. So see, it's scuffed up. This is actually pink. I hope the camera's picking it up. Probably should have turned on
Mm,
the lighting,
it's
but you
it's
get the
cool.
general
It's cool.
idea. This is donated. All right, this is a typical shoe that's donated to this program that we're going to talk about very shortly. All right, this is an example of me touching the same shoe.
Yeah, that's dope.
Same shoe. It's actually a left and a right pair. All right, now now that we got that out the way, in just in case the people don't believe us, people in internet land love to think that something's Photoshop. All right, it's the same shoe. It's a pair. All right, left and right. Um, I was sitting home in December. I took my youngest daughter to school, Head Start, and it was pretty funky winter. It wasn't really anything catastrophic, but weather was horrible, kind of like how it always raining now. And I seen a bunch of kids. Just sometimes you just look at different things that throughout the day, and I happen to look down and see a kid walking in the snow in some Vans slides with a hole in it. I was like, I looked at my daughter's feet. She had on some Uggs. I was, and I don't know, something triggered inside of me, and it was one of the moments where we might say, "Damn, I wish I was rich," or "I wish I had a couple dollars. I would really bless everybody." Like Trey Songz said, if I would take the whole hood to the top of the world with me, if I could. It was one of them moments, and I had two choices. I could have easily just let it be a thought and like, well, if I was rich or when I get rich, being I'm on that track, wealthy, whatever you want to call it, then I'll do it. Or I could do something about it within my wheelhouse and not worry about what I couldn't do or who
Mhm.
was or who wasn't going to support me. And I knew I had a big platform from these other businesses that I had accumulated, over the years. And I just also I'm a sneakerhead. Well, I was a sneakerhead. I'm slowly not really becoming a sneakerhead anymore. I just have a love for sneakers because they're art. But man, I had some old sneakers and I looked up some videos and I taught myself how to repair the shoes. And I got pretty good at it, and I started asking people instead of donating their shoes to Goodwill if they could donate their shoes to me. And lo and behold, people started donating their shoes. I started getting better at it, practicing different techniques. And in February, through the help of Keys and Powers, which is a nonprofit that's already set in stone, that helps over 500 families as it is right now, just through mental health, through the whole ropes. All right,
Mhm.
they they were already in the school systems, so I didn't have any red tape or anything. I didn't have to try to find kids who fit the criteria of needing shoes, all while improving grades and everything. And then they kind of brought in the aspect of building self-esteem, which it does. And let's just face it, if you get a new suit or new pair of shoes or a tie, anything, the first time you put it on, you feel like $1,000,000. I don't care if it's Calvin Klein or it's Walmart. When you put that thing on that you bought, and you know everything's there, the shape up's there, the hair is there, the purse there, you know, you feel different. Your self esteem is
Yeah,
boosted.
yeah.
This is scientific, okay? And the Sun came out to Matthew A. Henson on the first time that we really made a big debut about it. I didn't even have a name for it. That's how much I didn't care about the name. It's just I cared about the mission. But Be More Soulful sounded so much like what it was, SOLE. You know, it was taking the soul of the shoe and still had Be More in it. It had all the aspects of Be More Like Us and everything else I did, it encompassed it. You know, I wanted people to understand that Baltimore isn't everything, you know, negative. Uh, and man, we blessed the kids, and the Sun did an article, and the article went crazy. I think as it sits right now is at 380,000 views, which is one of the
Mm,
largest articles the Sun ever did. And the Sun didn't even want to do it. They had contacted me about the shooting at Douglas that had happened in February.
mm,
And I told him I didn't want to do any negative press. If you want to do something positive. Like, you know, else I wasn't going to do anything at all. And somehow Nike and Foot Locker got hold of the article. I guess it was trending up the East Coast. And they contacted me in March. I ended up in a Nike commercial, and it was kind of overwhelming, you know. And they brought more press to the kids, and more donations poured in, and people started donating some money, not really a lot of money, but you know, started money, and it was enough to buy like shoestrings, supplies, art, and everything like that. And then through the grace of God, because of the Nike commercial, Reebok ended up reaching out and offering a deal to give away some shoes. I actually still have a pair, just so you guys can see that this is real. Once again, I know nobody believes anything in internet land. Shout out to Reebok.
shout out to Reebok.
And they gave me full control over who to get these to. Oh, dropped them, but oh well. But that's just to show you it's real. All right. And then
Yeah, yeah,
Reebok
yeah.
commercial
That's powerful.
to Foot
Powerful. So
Locker.
re re refurbishing shoes for
Mhm.
kids who need shoes, who just man, and making them look hot again. So it's not even just like the shoes, and even with you putting them up for us, right? Man, I actually it is. You showed me that one video, man. It's the shoes look better than damn near when when they were brand new. Like you know what I mean? You know, you you take that shoe and it's like hard to believe that this was a used shoe at all. It's hard to believe it was ever a used shoe. And I think I remember you showing me a video of a kid. I think he had gotten some good grades or whatever. So you were returning his shoes back to him.
Correct.
And he was looking at you like, dude, these are not the shoes I gave
Yeah,
you.
he didn't know what was going on. Yeah, that video also made everything. You know, it's just energy in life, man. When you're doing things organically, you're not doing it to be viewed a certain way. It just happens by itself. It was just a small video. It was impromptu. I wanted to just catch the surprise on his face. I think the kids' reactions are the best part of it. Over top of the donations, over top of, you know, all the people that has helped, seeing a child's face light up, or seeing a child throw their old shoes into the garbage, you know, and dance, you know, with these refurbished shoes, or maybe the newest shoes they had, you know. Um, Even a story recently, a kid, I donated some shoes 2 months ago to the Head Start. Back, I felt like got to go back home to the place where it started, where the idea came from. And a month later, the teacher randomly stopped me and was like, "Hey, this kid has been wearing the shoes you donated for a month straight."
Mm.
And I said, "Huh?" She said, "I said like every day." I said, "Every day, no matter what the outfit looked like." And I was like lost for words, you know, because like I said, once again, we have kids. I know you have a kid, and even if we don't go out and shop for them every weekend, they have options. Okay, even if it's 5 pair of shoes, they have options. So imagine if your child to wear the same shoe every day, you know. And then it was a size 13. He wears a size 1.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So
Yeah, break that
uh
down. I don't think people understand that he getting
yeah,
corns. Right, he getting
man,
corns right now.
a 4-year-old child wore a too small shoe for a month straight, and here we are complaining about life.
Mm.
And once again, I because monetary donations have been low, even though shoe donations have been high, I really didn't have any size ones available, or that were in good enough shape where I would give them to a child. They still needed shoestrings or paint, stuff like that. Stuff is expensive, and I wasn't gonna let that defeat me. The same way the first concept came about, and I reached out to social media, and they poured in about $150 literally in one day, which was more than enough for me to go out and get something. And I went shopping for them Mother's Day weekend, and luckily I know a couple of the managers at the stores, at Mondawmin, and they were really nice to me when I was a sneakerhead, so they know me, they know what I do, and they really looked out. They gave me sales stuff or they discounted stuff, and I ended up getting 4 pair of shoes. And when I brought them to school that day, and same reaction, little boy didn't know what I was going. I gave them to the teacher, and the teacher must have told him. She was blown away. She didn't even know what I was doing. She had no clue.
Mhm.
She thought I was going to just refurbish some shoes, but I bought him 4 pair of brand new shoes, and he put them on. Same concept. He took them off. He had some Air Forces. I'm sorry, I gave him some Air Forces a week ago that I did refurbish because I had some
Okay.
extra shoestrings, some all whites. Yeah, I figured they go with anything. So he had the all white Air Forces on. So the only 2 pair of shoes this young man had was a 2 small size pair of 13 high top Air Forces and a size 1 low top all white that I gave him. And
Mm.
man, when I tell you he gave me the biggest hug ever, once the teacher made him realize that it was his, and then when I came back to pick my daughter up, his grandparents were picking him up, and they gave me a hug, and they just told me God bless me, and it was appreciated. His father was a single father, and he has a little brother. So currently, I'm still raising money now, to get his brother about 3 or 4 pair of shoes in a size 11, and I had a couple of friends. I
Mm.
made an angry video, and I kind of regret it, but I don't. I'm very passionate about what I do and these kids. And after talking to some friends, they was like, "Man, you don't want to seem like you shamming people, or you kind of forcing people to do the right thing." And I agree with that. And I thought about it, and it won't happen again. But I made a little angry post about seeing my friends at the bars and all that stuff, and then them telling me they couldn't donate even $5 to help these kids. And it caught window, and a couple good friends of mine was like, "Hey man, hit me up," and I said I'm gonna get to him today or tomorrow, to get the money and get the young man some shoes. So, but it's just stories like that, like you said, the little kid in the mall, and even the day we gave out a pair of Jordans to an unsuspecting kid at a school we never even had been to. Our first contest, sneakers for scholars, with the help of the group. They really put that together and did the contest and picked the winners, and they just God bless my team. Everybody on my team, Dante, Ringgold, and Pope, and Bud with Robert Stokes and Justin and Akil and Mike and Sade for everything that they have been doing to kind of help me with this mission. And I'm excited about the future of it, man. But it's just those type of stories that stick out over top of all the accolades and all that stuff. Just seeing the kids, man, put on these shoes and realize that I bumped into a brother actually, and this is where I'm gonna end this segment at, because it kind of ties everything in for those who think of
Okay.
this like we're rewarding kids. I bumped into a brother about 2 weeks ago doing a credit seminar. I just did a 10-minute credit rundown to a group individuals, and the brother pulled me up and said he had just came out of the feds 3 years ago, and what I was saying about credit was true. He respected exactly what I was saying. And I said, well, brother, can I ask you something? I said, why? How did you go to the feds? You're very intelligent. Obviously you don't look like you're going back. Now that you're out, you did 5 years in the feds. Why did you go? He said, man, I went because, believe it or not, I was bullied in school over shoes. I said, huh? I said, can you make that make sense to me? Because that's kind of a large leap, feds and getting bullied. He said, when I was in elementary school, my mom couldn't really afford any shoes. There was nobody like you or your team out, to my knowledge, that was helping, and kids would pick with me, and I started fighting, because I got tired of being bullied about, being poor. And then because I got tired of being poor, I started selling drugs so that my mom was struggling. And then from there, I just got used to the money, got used to the lifestyle. Nothing really mattered other than what I wanted to matter. And he said, I just felt like if programs like this were in place back then, I probably wouldn't have a felony. I wouldn't be sitting up here trying to fight to change my life and do something different with my life. And man, it's just stories like that to just make it all worth it.
Wow.
You know, it makes it all worth it. Over top of the money, over top of how people feel about who I used to do and what I used to be, and just stories like that, man. It still give me goosebumps, you know, because I can hear the
Yeah.
voices. I can recant. You know, I'm just kind of recollecting to you guys, but yeah, that's it. That's the heart and beat of Be More Soulful, man. That's what we do. We get things done.
Man, that's powerful. Pair at a time, brother. So I want to commend you for that, bro. I know that you're not in it for the accolades, and but nevertheless, man, as they say, you know, you got to tell the people that you love. You got to tell them you love them when they're here, and you got to tell those who are doing good work that we appreciate the good work when they're doing it, when they're here, when they can hear it. So I want you to know, man, that I definitely uh, appreciate what you're doing, and I'm sure, like you said, you know those kids, you are you're more impactful than you can even imagine, man. So that's powerful stuff, man. But yeah, man, let's talk about the clothing store, man. I mean, you make some nice pieces too. I picked up a couple from you. My
Yeah,
son was
first
digging
day.
it, uh, and you know, share people with you know with and you know, man, you like really what they call it, a serial entrepreneur. I mean, you got the mobile retail truck kind of, you know, I mean, I had the pleasure of sitting in the mobile joint, so kind of share it all with the listeners, man.
Yeah, well, my first child, even before my first child, was Beezy Clothing in 2005, August 10th, 2005. So my anniversary's coming up. And man, just like I said, being in college in my last year, you know, it was supposed to be my last year before I graduated. And I had a guy called my god brother named Clayton, call him Cheese, and him and my best friend, like still like my bro, my guy Bird. That's what Bird, Eric, and Cheese. That's actually was the acronym. That's where Be Easy came from. And man, I just remember many nights working two jobs, going to college, taking 18 credits, and working two jobs.
Mm,
Barely knowing what day it was, not sleeping, giving out free stuff, being out in the Paradox. Shout out to Wayne Davis and the Paradox. But you know, create me an atmosphere to where everybody came, so they people kept seeing it and it kind of grew. And um, yeah, man, just 14 years later, you know, you learn a lot. You know, many eviction notices later, many negative bank accounts later, uh, many forfeited businesses later, having to get your company out of forfeit status. You just learn, man. You learn the game. And um, about 9 years ago, I created a moniker, which I didn't know was going to grow into anything that it is now, and called Be More Like Us. Nomenclature, something that we can have reference to that was greater than crabs and the Ravens and the Oreos and you know everything else that people only associate with us and what beer, you know, the stuff that people associate us with, but they don't see the people like you know, offering opportunities to gentlemen like me. They don't see the Be More Soulful. They don't see the various nonprofits. I even seen a lady yesterday saying that this probably was her last year with her nonprofit in Baltimore, even though she has it in other states because there's just so little support. And I
mm,
created Be More Like Us just because I wanted to change in my life. And I felt like Be More Like Us encompassed the fact that I no longer was going to try to put the spotlight on me, but on anybody else that joined this movement. Be more like us, be more like the city, be more like, be proud of where you're from. Don't just talk about the murders and the rapes and the STDs and things like that. And to date, Be More Like Us is now, we'll get his registered bubble this summer. I'm very excited about that. Have, you know, a patent on that. I mean, I always had a patent, but like I want the extra step, you know, through the grace of my lawyer Landon White. He guided me through the whole process. And even though BZ Clothing is a entity where it sells, you know, hats and polos, and now I'm coming up with a luxury line I'm dropping in June, for people who like higher end stuff, you know, polos and button ups, you know, and different stuff, expanding the brand. Be More Like Us is still the number one seller. And it's the number one seller because people feel like when they put it on, they do represent exactly what we set out to do 9 years ago. So now you get people when they get that Be More Like Us package, man, they're ripping it open, they're tagging online, they're putting it on the first day, they're taking selfies, they doing dance videos, and it's just amazing to see the power of positivity. That when in the middle of a storm, which Baltimore is in, it's been in a storm for a while since the riots, right? That we collectively can truly believe that change will come, or at least are willing to look like we represent the same thing. And I think that's powerful all in itself. So once again, even though the clothing is dope and you had the mobile van, and I took a different approach with that because I feel like storefronts have a lot of overhead, and yeah, the van needs some maintenance, but like I said, God, when God is ready, He'll bless us, to be able to do some necessary repairs on the van. And I just keep it moving, man. It's dope to pull up. I pulled up on some customers yesterday who were supposed to get their surprise shirts mailed out today. I did some $5 t-shirts. That's what we talked about, to make things a little bit more affordable for people to be able to represent the brand. For those who don't, who like shopping at Walmart, or they're not really into luxury brands. I created something for everybody, and I surprised about two or three people who were going to get it mailed, and I kind of just called them. They said they were home, and I pulled up, and they just had the biggest smile, and I seen them put on the shirt today. And I don't know, man. My life is amazing. I don't really focus on any of the negative stuff that we go through on a day-to-day basis. I know one of my partner's mom passed 2 days before Mother's Day, and that really rocked me a week ago, literally a week ago. And of course, we could be down about that, but she wouldn't want that. She would want us to keep doing exactly what we're doing. And yeah, man, that's Be Easy Clothing. Be Easy Clothing is the company of Baltimore. I mean, I respect all the clothing brands from City of Gods to Cashland to Y Brand to I just know all of most of the people who doing something of significance if they have a storefront like Huey Brand or anything. But to me, Be Easy Clothing is home. Be Easy Clothing is everything Baltimore that uh, people are scared of or don't really want to acknowledge how dope Baltimore really is. Got the poor connection thing going. You'll come back in a second.
Some rebooting.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna come back. I told you, like, all right, he's gonna come back.
So yeah, so that was kind of like what I opened up with, man. Is just as far as you are the epitome of what real Baltimore is, man. Entrepreneur. We know some incredible black entrepreneurs that have really kind of led business, if you will, have come out of Baltimore. The the activism. A lot of people don't realize that so many activists and so many things have started right here in Baltimore. So I really wanted to highlight you on that. And really, again, like you said, is the narratives that we actually share, that we actually fashion to let people know that, hey, this is the real Baltimore. This is what's up. We got great people out here doing great work, who are born and raised right here, gone to high schools right here in Baltimore, who are bright, intelligent, business minded, uh, civil minded human beings. And man, like I said, man, you to me, you are the epitome of that, brother. So we're gonna stay connected forever and ever. But tell people how they can connect with you, if they want to donate. I want folks to listen. If you're listening to the show, you got to check him out. He's doing the work. How can folk donate to make sure that Be More Soulful can impact more youth and do what you do?
There's a couple ways you can donate. You can go to our Instagram, Be More Soulful Kicks. Send us a DM. Let us know if you're just trying to donate shoes or if you want to donate monetary, stuff. Let us know. We do have Cash App, $ Mr. Be Easy Forever, MRBEZ, the number four, and then ever, EVER. We also have PayPal. You look us up, Mr. Be Easy 05 at gmail.com. Like I said, I'm saying these things, but they'll be posted on the page for you to, be able to recap and look at them yourself. I've had people send checks. I mean, they're going to clear. You can send a check. I'm cool with that. Banks are going to accept it as long as it don't bounce. I don't care. I haven't had a bounce check. I had some older women who just don't really deal with internet stuff that sent checks. And I had some people that straight walked up to me and gave me money. Like I said, these things are rare right now because we're grassroots. But definitely shout out to the people who donate. I think between February when we took our first donation, monetary donation, and now maybe we probably raised over $1,000, which is a lot, so like I said, man, if you're interested in donating it, if it's shoes, let us know. You can reach me at 443-839-4777. We'll get somebody to pick them up, or you can drop them off at one of the donation stations between downtown Baltimore and Pikesville, or we'll get it done, man. If you want to donate, I've had people ship shoes. There's actually a lady in Pennsylvania that once a month she goes to a swap meet or flea market, and she buys like $1, $2, $3 shoes, man. She boxes them up and she sends it to me. And I just I'm just thankful, man. Like I said, I'm no longer frustrated or irritated by anybody. I'm thankful for anything. If you view a video, cool. If you donate some shoes, awesome. If you donate money, awesome. If you donate shoestrings, awesome. Whatever you do, I'm gonna be thankful for, and we're gonna stretch it. Only thing I say to people is just remember we represent your town. And if you're tired, like I'm tired, it's like I'm pretty sure you're tired, Gary. You're not from here, you love here. You know, um, we can either talk about change or we can be the change. So just like I said, just remember that this weekend, even though you don't have to do anything, you don't owe me anything. Just think about these kids before you take a $20 shot or a $300 shot of some aged, tequila. Think about how that $300 could make sure another 4-year old doesn't have to wear a pair of shoes for a month straight. And people gonna be people, man. I'm gonna love people regardless. I love the city. If you want to cop a shirt, you can go to bemorelikeus.com. Actually, we actually own that domain name. A good friend of mine bought it for me. Said he think it would be a dope contribution, and that's just the kind of blessings I like, the kind of friends I like. And you can go to bemorelikeus.com, and it'll take you, reroute you to everything that we do, man, on the for-profit based side. And if you have social media, look us up, Mr. Be Easy Forever, on all social platforms. It's about the same way as the Cash App, MRB, Easy, the number 4, and then the word ever, EVER, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And we're currently going to have a Pinterest coming up in the next 7 days. So you'll be able to find us on Pinterest as well.
All right. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff for folks.
Thank you, man. Too, man. Thank you, man.
Brother, you're quite welcome. Thank you for being on the show and for all that you do, bro.
Uh-oh. Great connection went out.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Man, that was a great show. And until next week, folks. Until next week. I'm your host, Gary Rockman, your real estate rock star. You've been listening to Connection. Until next week, keep moving forward.
You will not be able to stay home, brother.